Hi and welcome back. Malcolm X is famously quoted as having said, "The most disrespected person in America is the black woman." Now let that sink in for a moment. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. Well, that is a very hard pill to swallow. That is a hard pill to swallow, but it's something for you. If you are a black person, a black woman looking at this video, it is something for you to be cognizant of. It's one thing to experience the disrespect, the physical assault, the fear and intimidation tactics. It's one thing to experience those at the hands of other, and it's devastating when you experience those things at the hands of other black people, but it's even more heightened when it's at the hands of a black man. Welcome back to Say Yes to You on this channel. I do love talking about things related to your spirituality, having a strong connection with yourself and with the universe as a whole, but I also do find tremendous value in offering information as it relates to the human experience. On this channel, I talk about spiritual bypassing, which is an interesting phenomenon where we have this desire or this draw to acting like we don't have very natural, very human emotions that do need to be acknowledged and respected. If this is the kind of content that you are intrigued by, you find interesting, go ahead and give the video a preemptive like. That means like it right now and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But back to being black and being disrespected. So if you're anything like me, you are experiencing low grade or maybe even high grade anxiety just being in the world. Maybe you find that you are more quick to anger, you don't have as much patience. And if you're on the extreme end, when we're not dealing with our emotions, our feelings, it can truly manifest in physical discomfort. You can feel aches and pains. You can feel headaches. You can feel particularly tired and drained because there's something happening that is not being addressed. There's a lot of information that's out there in the media that's really coming to the forefront that I feel is particularly charging as a black woman. We all are well aware of what's happening here in the United States with the Black Lives Matter movement, and actually abroad with black people as a whole standing up for the right to exist. To put it plainly, the simple right to exist here in this country and out in the world. There are a lot of people who perhaps on some level feel that maybe black people don't have the right to exist, have the right to thrive. What I think is making it particularly charging for black women, however, is whether you want to see it or not, whether you want to believe it or not. There is an interesting dynamic that exists in the black community that perhaps doesn't exist in other communities. Because I am a black person in black community, I can't really speak to what's happening, over there. But what I will say for black people and the dynamics between black men and black women is what makes black women particularly vulnerable in the world is the absence of protection from the black man. You can take that as you will. You can agree or disagree. Maybe I'm full of crap. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But it does seem to me that the structure where you have a man as a head of a household, a man as a leader in your home, a leader in society is absent in the black community. This is actually part of nature. It's how nature has designed it. And the absence of that is destabilizing. The absence of it is fear-inducing. Now, that's not to say that women cannot be their own protectors, that women cannot be their own providers. I can't say that because of the absence of the man, women are charged with stepping up. Women are charged with assuming those responsibilities, and that's what we see happening now. But because it is as nature has designed it, there's always going to be a part of you that has the desire for that. There's always going to be a part of you that yearns for that. So the absence of it, again, is what I would say is the underlying root of that anxiety, the underlying root of that fear. Really and truly, it's fear. The fear is showing up as an anxiety. You're not really sure what's happening. The anxiety is more so mental. But what's really at work, I do love to talk about our chakra systems and how the chakra systems are developmental. What's really happening is fear. So what I wanted to come to you today with was a way to address the fear. But first, let me say this. That fear that's not being addressed is going to manifest itself as anxiety, is going to manifest itself as irritability. And on the other end of the spectrum, the more extreme ranges, when we're not dealing with what's happening inside of us, our emotions, our thoughts, when we're not dealing with it, it can manifest itself physically in the form of aches and pains, maybe lethargy, or feeling very run down, feeling very tired. I felt like this was a good time to really address this because this is on the heels of my 6-part series on the root chakra and money. So this actually is also a root chakra situation. I'll use that word. A root chakra situation, an attribute of the root chakra, the feeling of safety. Am I safe in this world? Now, if you are a Black woman who is watching this video, you probably have 100,001 different stories of how you've just been out trying to exist and you have felt microaggressions from people of other races and or other Black people. Incidents of outright prejudice, incidents of outright racism, and maybe even having your physical safety threatened by, again, people of other races. But it's particularly devastating when we receive that treatment at the hands of other Black people, but specifically at the hands of Black men. I would say that when we are on the receiving end of these aggressions or prejudices or blatant disrespect, when we're on the receiving end of these things from the Black man, I believe it hits differently because, again, part of nature is to have that person be your protector, be your supporter. So when you are experiencing the opposite of that, not even experiencing, when you witness the opposite of that, it's going to have a very real effect on you. There are mirror neurons, I believe they're called mirror neurons, to where when you are the observer, when you are the witness to someone on the receiving end of some type of mistreatment, your brain actually has a reaction as though you are the one who is on the receiving end. So I see you being disrespected on video, on the street. I see it happen to you. My brain is suggesting that it's happening to me as well, okay? So you yourself may be in the real life situation where you're having, these very negative experiences, which is going to have a domino effect with how you're feeling about yourself, how you're perceiving the world. If you are watching videos of women being mistreated, Black women being mistreated, you're reading articles and you can kind of put yourself in that person's situation, again, you are taking it on as though it's happened to you. And there are a couple of stories that are getting a lot of traction in the media. One is out of Tallahassee, Florida, with the 19-year-old woman who was a Black Lives Matter activist who was murdered at the hands of, I don't know. The article I read said something about mentally, he perhaps was mentally ill and or, I don't know. That's one story. And there's another story out of Washington, D.C. of a woman being literally hurled into a garbage dumpster, like a sack of garbage, Black women, two Black women. So if you are if you are witness to these things, if you are exposed to these things, it is going to have an effect on you. So what I wanted to offer you today is a couple of tools to help you deal with your response, deal with your feelings, because again, you want to address it within yourself first and then be in a position to help other people. But you have to help yourself. And I always love to say, I can only give to you from my overflowing cup. I cannot give you something that I actually don't have to spare. So be it emotional support, be it financial support, be it my attention and time, if I don't have an abundance of these things, I'm doing myself a disservice to give it to you. I'm doing you a disservice when I give it to you because I'm giving begrudgingly. You're not going to get all of me. You're not going to get the full experience of me if I don't give you from my overflow. Okay? So what I'm going to suggest to you is a couple of things that you can do to bring yourself back to center, to provide calm and soothing to that first chakra, to provide some degree of reassurance in that first chakra, to kind of help you balance the fear that is being stimulated there. Okay? The first one is tapping. Surprise! It's EFT tapping. And as you may recall, there are these different tapping centers, tapping locations. It's akin to acupuncture, where you are tapping into your energy meridians, which is sending a signal to your primitive brain, which the amygdala, which is your fight, flight, or fear center response. And as you are tapping, you are kind of diffusing that energy and sending that calming signal to your brain to let you know there's nothing to fight right now. There's nothing to flee from right now. Right now, in this moment, you are safe. So to review, the tapping locations are the eyebrow points. You're going to use a couple, 3 fingers, tap, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, doesn't matter. Then go to the side of the eye, tap a couple of fingers, underneath the eye, underneath the nose, the chin, your collarbone. You can do under your arms where the bra strap is. You can do the top of your head. I don't even have a script for you today. What I would say is it almost doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you say. What's important is that you are able to tap, no pun intended, tap into the feeling, anxiety, fear. If you are someone who is disconnected, a lot of people are so disconnected to themselves, they can't even perceive a change in their energy. They don't, until it's too late, they may not even recognize that they are irritated, that they are anxious, that they are angry, that they're feeling unsafe. Some people are so disconnected to themselves. They're somewhere up here. Within their imagination, in their mind. They have no connection to their body. But the feelings are inside of your body. The emotions are literally trapped inside of your body. And that's why when they're not addressed, it manifests itself as a physical sensation, because it's literally in your body. So you can do your tapping, connect to the feelings, and just continue to tap until you feel a shift. You will feel a shift, or the physical indications that you are beginning to disperse that energy include yawning, tearing, like your eyes may tear up, burping. You may have little bubbles in your stomach. You may just begin to feel calm. It can manifest in a number of ways. It's very individual to the person. So do some tapping. If you can feel yourself getting riled up or getting angry, do some tapping with whatever words you want to use or not use. Just close your eyes or not. I would say if you're new to it, just close your eyes and begin tapping and thinking and tapping until you can feel something, until you notice something. Again, it's very individual. And the second thing that I wanted to introduce, that I'm going to do a full video on, is something I'm finding tremendous, sound like Donald Trump now, but tremendous results from, tremendous relief from. It is the havening technique. And just briefly, in tapping, we have the butterfly tap, right? But the havening is the same idea, except all you're doing is stroking. You're just stroking your arms. So again, you may be thinking of whatever incident may have taken place. I'm already relaxing. You can think of whatever incident may have just been so upsetting to you and just, stroke your arms. There are 4 different locations. You also have the palms of your hand. You have your forehead, and you have your eye area. You're simply stroking. As you think, you're simply stroking. And my experience is that as I'm doing the havening, I'm having the similar, or if not the same, sensations that I typically get from when I'm doing my EFT tapping, because really both of them are working on switching your brainwave activity. Okay, so you can do the tapping, you can do the havening, whichever you prefer, to just begin to calm yourself down and send different information to your brain and really begin to calm down the feelings of fear. It can look like a bunch of different things, but what's actually happening is fear. Okay? Tell me what you thought of this video. Does it make sense to you? Go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, this is something I'm going to try. Just, let me know what you think of this information as far as being a Black woman during these times and being particularly fearful, being particularly anxious. And what do you think of my rationale why? Am I off the wall here? Are these 2 issues related? The dynamics between Black men and Black women and what's happening in the world. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have a different point of view. Again, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until the next time, bye.